Social media has warped our brains into thinking what's normal is driving fancy cars, taking vacations around the world, and flexing to anyone who will spend 20 seconds on their TikTok account. But that's not the reality for most adults in America. A 2025 Bankrate study found that 59% of Americans don't even have enough money to cover an unexpected $1,000 expense. So if you don't stress about that or have anything more, you're doing much better than a large portion of people today. I believe that saving your first $1,000 is more important than hitting a higher goal like 5,000 or even 20,000. Not because those numbers are worse, but because if you have the discipline to save that first $1,000 and hold it for emergencies, you can develop those habits needed to hit those much higher numbers. You have to start at step one. When I was 18 years old, I worked at a GameStop that had a Walmart in the same shopping center. I would walk there most days to buy a Red Bull. It was a ritual of mine. I would do it after finishing working the morning shift at a swimming pool. I didn't have a credit card at the time and relied on a small lifeguard paycheck and working part-time at GameStop. GameStop paid me on a money card that had a 25-cent transaction fee every time I used it after the fifth swipe each month. So I always decided to go to an ATM at a casino to pull out as much as I could so I wouldn't get charged any of these fees. I used cash for almost everything, but that day it had been near the end of the month and my cash was almost all gone. That morning I had a small Ziploc bag with dimes and nickels. When I got to the cashier, I began counting. The other lines were filled, and the poor cashier slowly verified my payment. There was a man behind me who was clearly frustrated. He was huffing between every single breath. I tried to ease the tension, and I turned around and apologized that I was taking too long. He didn't say anything back to me and just shook his head, which seemed to be really just disappointment. I actually felt embarrassed by this. I made it back to my store and finished my shift, but I couldn't stop thinking about that. This moment didn't change my life. I didn't get my act together and become wealthy in a few years. It just lingered. I was embarrassed about not having the funds to pay for something so simple like a Red Bull. And that's actually the reality for a lot of people today, especially if you're just starting out. Except today, it's a little less embarrassing, but much more dangerous with a credit card that can put people in a large amount of debt. This video is about the most important milestone when starting your wealth journey, saving your first $1,000. It's important to meet this goal because you need some money if something happens. Your car breaks, or you dropped your phone and broke your screen. This $1,000 is your first emergency fund, so you don't need to go into debt if something unexpected happens. Also, I do want to make a note that you may have had more than $1,000 in your bank account at one time, but the point of this is to be set aside not for your general spending and not used for everyday expenses. It's your first investment in yourself, your emergency fund. And if you already have $1,000, you can use these tips to get to your next goal of $5,000, $10,000, whatever that number is. There is no stopping to the number. For someone starting basically at zero, I'd recommend these are the best 5 simple steps to follow. Tip 1, know what you're actually spending. Not in a budget spreadsheet, just look at your bank account. Just look at your bank statement for the last 30 days and add it up. If you use a credit card currently, look at the credit card statement and add up and look up at every single transaction that you do. Most people have never done this, and the number is almost always worse than they think. Tip 2, find your Red Bull. Everyone has one. The daily coffee, the DoorDash habit, the forgotten subscription for Netflix for the one show that you wanted to watch that finished and you never returned to watch Netflix again. It's not about cutting everything fun. It's kind of about finding the one reoccurring thing that it's quietly draining your account. For me, I didn't cut Red Bull. It kept me going while I had 2 jobs at once, and I don't think I would have made it if it wasn't for that sweet, sweet nectar. Sometimes you need something small to get you through the day, and that's fine. I was spending a lot of money on fast food at the time, so to start, I went from eating out 4 meals a week to 3 and continued to reduce that as the food became less appealing. Find what you can cut and cut it. Tip 3, pay yourself first. Even if this is just $25 a paycheck, move it the day you get paid before spending anything. And even better, have it automatically deduct into that separate savings account for you. If you wait to save whatever's left after paying your bills, there will never be anything left. Tip number 4, make it invisible. Separate the savings account and create automatic transfers. If you can see that money sitting in your checking, you'll probably spend it. Out of sight, out of mind. A really good tip with this is creating a separate bank account to where you just have a high yield savings with that bank. So when you get paid, it will automatically go to this new savings account. And tip number 5, stop trying to save big. $1,000 feels impossible if you're thinking about that $1,000. Think about $50 this paycheck, or 25, then $50 next paycheck, 20 paychecks later, and you're there. This is the most important step. It really took me forever to change my mindset of saving what little I had, but time and compounding is on your side. The sooner that you can create this savings habit, the better off you're going to be. If you don't stay consistent, all of the other work and sacrifices you've done won't mean anything. Save consistently, and your future self will be thanking you. And that's really it. The mental shift matters more than the mechanics. $1,000 doesn't seem like much, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not. But setting this groundwork will get you ahead and towards that path of generating wealth. This is a marathon, not a sprint. But the $1,000 that you set aside for emergencies, it's the bedrock for what's to come. I didn't do this until a lot later. I had credit card debt and lived paycheck to paycheck, making $12 an hour. I always felt like money would come at a later date, but it never did until I just started to focus on it more. If you've already hit your $1,000, when did you hit it first? I didn't have a steady amount of savings till I was about 24 years old, but I'm glad that I finally did. Let me know in the comments below when you hit your first 1,000 or what savings goal that you're headed towards. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.